Hello and welcome to the Global Business Podcast. My name's Mark Philpott and I'm your host for the show. And on today's show, I have another extremely exciting guest for you. Thank you to everybody who's been listening to the show. We've only just started the show and already lots of people around the world are engaging, so that's good to hear. We're talking business and I'm interviewing people all over the world about their businesses pre-COVID-19 and also what's happened as a result of COVID-19, so we can share stories, information, inspiration and motivation about how businesses are dealing with the situation around the world. And on today's show, we're going to be talking fashion. Yes, my guest is from the fashion industry. So it's a very warm welcome to the Global Business Podcast to Mr. Berny Martin. Berny, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm very well. Just a beautiful day here.
And where are you exactly in the world?
I am in Evansville, Indiana,
Indiana.
Yes, located in the southwest part of Indiana, between Kentucky and Illinois.
Fantastic. And is Evansville famous for anything in particular? Other than you're living there?
I'm not sure what Evansville is famous for.
I'm sure someone's going to write to me and tell me that Evansville's famous for something.
Yeah.
Now, listen, it's great to have you on the show today. We're going to talk all about business. So why don't we start off by asking you, what business do you actually run?
I am in the business of fashion.
Ah, fantastic.
And fashion is one of those business that intrigued me at a very young age. And despite my effort to learn something different than fashion, it seems to be I was forever been taunted or guided to or exposed to some type of fashion way. Yes.
Was there an inspiration or an epiphany or a role model or somebody in your life that got you into fashion?
To me, it was a little bit of all the above, you know. Now that I am in fashion, I don't see myself being anything else but that, you know. I was exposed to what you call the art scene when I was growing up, you know, on the island of Haiti. So another way for people to survive was through art, and I had definitely an abundance of people that not only were artists themselves, but at the same time, they have used art as a way to send out messages, you know, in a source of a source of communication. And of course, when I moved to Brooklyn, New York, that sense of community of art was still in my neighborhood where I grew up at. And of course, in the 90s, it was one of the places where hip hop, the whole hip hop movement was extremely strong, you know? So, yes, to answer your question, I don't see myself nothing but that.
So you must have had a explosion of and an appetite once you moved from Haiti to New York City, because it's the mecca in a lot of ways, isn't it, to a lot of amazing artists. So did you find yourself kind of in a place where you just thought, wow, this is the place for me to do my thing?
Yes and no. You know, I grew up in a very stubborn immigrant family, you know, where the rules were you have to go to college and learn a trade of a career that systematically consists of three things. You either be a lawyer, a doctor, or some type of engineer. That's all they know.
Mm, mm. Sounds familiar.
Everything else, huh?
It sounds familiar across the world, that one.
Yeah. So I didn't really have a choice of for my parents early on, or their encouragement or the support of becoming a fashion designer. My dad, I remember early on in my career, thought this was a joke. You know, but to be quite honest with you, I went to school to become an engineer.
Right.
I have a bachelor degree in computer science.
Hmm.
So for my dad, seeing the fact that I'm no longer eh, wanting to be an engineer and want to become a fashion designer, he thought of it as a slap to his face, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and not understanding what fashion is, the business of fashion, and how there was forever other career that was embedded to the field of fashion.
So when you were a young boy and you got interested in fashion, did you was the desire and the goal to end up with your own fashion label?
No, at first, it was more a competition thing. Oh, look at me! I'm wearing this. I made this. Uh, the idea of having your own label or your own line of clothes never came across my mind until I graduated college and started working in a corporate America, and I started really investigating what does it mean to be in fashion. Prior to that, it was nothing but a glamorous type of ideology of having my own clothes, like just for myself.
Mm.
Nothing that, oh, I'm gonna go in business and sell people clothes. No.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's the name of your label today?
The name of our label is Catou,
Catou.
Catou.
Okay.
Yes, and
And what was the inspiration behind the name?
my grandmother. She
Ah.
meant the world. She means the world to me.
Mm.
Her name is Marie Elizabeth Catherine Loiseau, and
Yep.
Catherine for short was Catou. It was a nickname or child play name they gave her, and that forever stick with her. And definitely, we in it, are wanting that name for my label because she meant the world to me, and I just wanted to the world to see. Here we are. We have a woman that probably never went to school, and she was full of love and humility and ambition, and also and compassion, you know, and never I saw her mad and furious despite the thing that took place in her life. She
Mm.
was still full of love, and even in my adult life now, it's still pondering me how she managed to do that.
That's an amazing dedication to your grandmother to create your passion to and I guess acknowledgement of her journey as well.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. How long's the business been going for?
I started the whole process in 2005. However, it wasn't until 2009 I really began developing the business of being in fashion. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Prior to that, not that I didn't want to, because of the location where I'm located. At the time, it's the Midwest, Indiana. We're not talking even Chicago here. Resources were extremely scarce. We're
Mm.
talking about no access to uh, a very supply chain of fabrics and the whole fashion thing doesn't exist here, you know. So as a young man, and I must say that thanks to my upbringing in from Brooklyn, I quickly identified to the New York fashion industry there. And that's how I really truly began my journey in fashion. But if it was for me to rely solely in Indiana to develop my skill as a fashion designer, I probably will still be waiting still today.
Mm.
You and I probably would never speak today either.
Well, that would have been a shame. I would have missed out on something great. Now,
Yeah.
what about your line of fashion? Do you cater for both men and women?
Yeah. I earlier on I realized that being from the corporate world, I quickly identify myself. What can a fashion line can create for men and women in the corporate world? You know, what can you create that will make them not only stand out, but stand out in a conservative manner and not to be flamboyant and where they become distractive. Does that make sense?
Yes.
and 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 that's what I really wanting to do, you know, because part of what I was seeing when I was in a corporate America in the Midwest, everybody wore the same thing, you know. It was the same black jacket or navy blue suits, blue sky shirt, white shirt, and you could not go beyond that. And for me, I wanted to change that. I really wanted to make women very feminine, but at the same time with a very masculine appearance, you know,
Mm. Mm.
without compromising being a woman, you know. And for men, I wanted them to look less aggressive, you know, with the navy blue and the black suit. I wanted for them to be a little bit more entertaining,
Mm.
more welcoming, more inviting. So that's exactly what I love designing about both men and women in my line.
Yeah, beautiful. Has it been a difficult journey to change the mindset of the customer to start to wear something a little bit more different?
Yes, to a certain extent, and no to a certain extent, because you have also an abundance of clientele that are very much aware of the thing that I just described to you, because they understand that the lack of clothes that make them feel uh, a part of who they really want to be, you know. At the
Mm.
same time, you have the conservativeness of the nature of the culture here as well, which is, you know what, that's the way we like to do things. We're gonna stay that way, and nothing can change that, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yes, we were definitely confronted by that, but at the same time, they were curious enough because they realized that not they are somewhat in the back end of everything and not being open, and the market of the fashion industry is not necessarily came to them, you know,
Yeah.
versus when you're walking down the street in Manhattan, you have hundreds of options, you know, if not trillions of options.
Mm.
And when you're walking in the Midwest, especially in a small town like, you know, Evansville or Columbus, Ohio, and things like that, the your options are limited, you know, so
Mm.
you end up looking like everybody else.
So, how do people find your clothes? What's your distribution model?
Right now, it's all custom made,
Hmm.
100% custom, and we do supply a few boutiques here and there, but we don't go and produce anything on a forecast level. where we mass producing anything. If it's not ordered or if it's not been created for a customer, therefore we don't make them.
Okay.
That's pretty much the way we look at it.
So,
A part of it is a very sustainable way for us to contribute our part to the whole ideology of being sustainable. Why wasting fabric if no one is buying it?
so your correct me if I'm wrong, your vision for your business was not one to have everybody in the world wearing your clothes, but to have people who wanted to have their customized fashion made for them.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah. So, how was business going up to the time that COVID-19 descended on the world? Was business going pretty well for you?
It going very well for us. It's going very well for us. It is a situation where we were catering to the wedding market quite a bit, you
Mm.
know, and also to the independent business owner that's forever running around with business meeting on a 24-hour day kind of thing. And all of a sudden that stopped. Now
Mm.
most of our customers that want to do wedding now, they are looking at 2021. All the
Yep.
weddings have been canceled because of the number of people they cannot put into place. Yes, there's a couple people here and there that are asking for weddings to be done in later on during the year, but we're not sure yet if that's gonna happen or not. We don't know what the future is really with COVID-19 and what they're gonna be saying.
So, where are your customers? Are they all over the US, all over the world? Whereabouts are they?
They are all over the U.S. We're still working with different manufacturers at the moment to create a new brand to supply a niche of international clients at the moment. Because of the way things are going right now, we put that project on hold, but we're still in communication.
Right. So, you had, I guess, a large emphasis on the wedding market. How did you kind of sit down and realize all this when it came to time thinking, okay, my current mainstream of customers is being switched off for a while. What's the business strategy now? Did you make a decision to go into a different area or just put things on hold for a while?
No, we're still focusing on the same strategy.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing now, I used to be in every networking events, socializing, shaking hands with people. Now, we are focusing on social media
Yep.
um, strategy in
Mm-hmm.
order for us to communicate more effectively with our clientele or potential clients, and definitely word of mouth. You know.
Yeah. So how's it changed from a point of view that, you're not able to go traveling and all that's been stopped? Have you found it as a business leader and a business owner a lot more difficult to engage with your customer base?
Yes.
Mm.
At the moment, for now, it is. But what I'm realizing as well, maybe it forces me to really create the opportunity for myself, which is in the area that I never had the time to invest in. You know, we
Mm.
all knew, everybody in fashion knew what's going on now on the retail side of things. It will come. Everybody knew that we will eventually come to a point where we all gonna shop online. Where retail gonna become more so a stopping center, not a purchasing center, but a stopping place, just to look at things, and then people gonna look up online anyway to buy it. We all knew that.
Yeah.
So, did we expect that it was gonna come like it did in 2020? No.
Mm.
It's just that it giving us now the opportunity to really revisit the technology that we really have and start implementing them. So to answer your questions, that's exactly what we are doing with our company is taking advantage of the thing we should have taken advantage of years ago, but
Mm.
we were too busy, you know. So now we are looking at it as yes, let's do it, let's go forward.
So it's this period of time under COVID-19 has actually made you fast track some of these strategic decisions to change the way your business operates.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Prior to
How,
that, I was just traveling everywhere, meeting people, constantly on the go. So now it just made me realize, where I really need to focus my time and my
mm.
energy.
How many people are involved in your business?
We are very spread around all over the globe, really. We're about what about 12, 12, 12 of
12
us.
people?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
So
being spread over the globe, how's that been from a management point of view to keep everybody, I guess, first of all, inspired and motivated in the business during this time? And of course, with people being in different countries, they would be going through different experiences under this COVID-19. How's that been for you?
I would say at the beginning it was very challenging because we didn't know what to do to ourselves. We were a group of very much on the go, and all of a sudden we stop, you know. So what we find motivating to us is each other by constantly creating and designing. That's how we did, keep creating new things and calling each other and redesigning certain things that we think might be the future of fashion, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's how we've uh, been creative, basically. That's what keeping us going.
So innovation has been something else that's come into your business in a more of a fast track way, so to speak.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, good. Is the fashion industry, I know very little about it, but is the fashion industry an industry where you collaborate a lot within the industry with other people?
Oh, yes.
Mm.
Fashion is one of the industry where if you are not a person that don't embrace collaboration, the the answer to that is good luck.
Right, right.
Good luck. Because, you know, I don't know if you knew that, Mark, but fashion has a very deep root into the what you call the farming industry.
Hmm.
And from farming to when you see someone wearing something, it's all interconnecting, you know? So fashion is one of the industries that make you look at things and look at it and think freely, to see how can I design that thing, you know?
Mm. Yeah, that's really interesting. Have you got a lot of suppliers that are also having a lot of struggles at the moment?
Yes and no. Some suppliers that we were working with are revisiting the way they were producing things in the past. For
Mm.
instance, a lot of people used to make things. you know, we're gonna sell this in 2 years or 3 years or a year later and so on. And next thing you know, those things that they are creating is just sitting in a warehouse somewhere, you
Mm.
know? So
Mm.
now people are looking at the fact that why did I create all those things? Did I really wanted those things? Did I even? They're just sitting there. How can we get rid of all those things? I'm in debt. So
Mm.
a lot of things that been going on in fashion is I'm sure you heard the term, fashion forecasting is
Yeah.
basically, you know, things you're thinking you're gonna sell in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4, 5 years from now, and and you don't even know if people really gonna really buy into it or not, but you just make them.
Mm. Mm. It's yeah, it
And
seems like a wish and a prayer that this is going to be the right thing at the right time, but
it's the
who
right thing,
knows? Yeah.
exactly, but we don't even know. So now we're looking at some companies, they are taking a step back into the whole forecasting movement and see how can we supply what's going on now. How can we sell for the client that is now versus the client that is we think that's what they're gonna need. you know
Has that been something that's happened as a result of COVID-19? Has it?
Definitely,
Right.
because a lot of those companies now they are sitting on so many wasted materials,
Mm.
wasting stuff, just sitting there all over the globe. We have a bunch of places they just have warehouses full of stuff, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you're looking at the United States, for instance, because of COVID-19 now, where nothing is being shipped for because there's no retail stores open, they thought that it was gonna happen for the summer. Where the summer buyers? No one.
Mm.
So where are
Mm.
all those items? They're just sitting somewhere. So
Yeah.
they're probably gonna have to sell them online. If they are not moving online, guess what? They are somewhere gonna end up in a wasteland somewhere, or they're just staying in a warehouse, and hopefully somebody will buy them.
Mm. That's really interesting. So we're seeing a reshaping of the entire fashion industry right now. Is that correct to say that?
That is complete. I mean, the person that says about the Gucci about a few weeks ago,
Mm.
they said it best. They were like, "Oh, we are doing about 6 fashion shows a year. We are looking to do only 2 fashion shows a year."
Yep.
And and a lot of time people don't even know why were we having all those fashion shows anyway.
Mm. Mm. I think a lot of it was the socializing aspect of it, wasn't it?
No, absolutely, you
Yeah.
nailed it. It was the socializing part of it, the glamorous part of fashion, the whole networking business side of fashion. You know, but now people
Yeah.
are, because of COVID-19, they're looking back and reinvesting their time and see how we can do this differently.
Yeah. So, what are a couple of the things that have been really big lessons for you as a business owner and a business leader through these COVID-19 times? What are a couple of things that you can sit down and say, wow, I really learnt about this or that, or I had to change about this or that?
Word of mouth
Mm-hmm.
is the best form of advertising, you know, and the clients that we still have today are clients that been not only been with us for a long time, but at the same time, uh, people that have referred uh, business to us because of their relationship, because of they they had a great definitely that, because with COVID-19 now you're looking at where you cannot meet people, you cannot shake hands with people, and so on and so on. So yeah, that definitely opened our eyes and value the customer that really had a great experience with us, and revisiting some of those relationships and see how we can revisit those relationships to start another narrative with them and be part of their family journey or their career journey, and so on and so on. Yes.
Isn't it extraordinary? We've been through decades and decades of marketing and ways of, growing business and all the rest of it. Yet you're sitting here today in 2020 talking about word of mouth as being one of the most important ways to get our business out there. Have you heard of the Joe Rogan podcast?
No, no, I have not.
Okay. So Joe Rogan's the number one podcaster in the world.
Mm,
And I was just listening to him talking last night actually about how he grew his business to be that. And we're talking about a guy that has 3 to 4 million people per episode listening to his podcast, right? So he's very influential. He's just signed $100 million deal with Spotify to host his podcast. And he was saying that all he does to grow his podcast and all he's ever done to grow it over the last 10 or 15 years, has been word of mouth. He's done no formal advertising anywhere. It's all been by people listening, liking his show, and telling other people about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're referring to right now, is that, focusing on word of mouth and making sure that your customers are satisfied enough that they're going to go out there and tell everybody about your product.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because with you know the human being journey on this earth is what is when you take an airplane or a boat or a train, right?
Mm.
And the first thing we do, we are talking.
Yeah,
Doesn't
exactly.
matter where you go, you're talking about your journey, your experience, and so on. And what else happened? You probably wearing something, or you probably eating something. You probably reading a book or something, right?
Mm.
Guess what you are doing right there and there? You're sharing your experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And whether I see something on the internet or not, I will value more when I see that person wearing or sharing or eating or something to give me their opinion versus I will trust that information a lot faster than
Yeah.
what you're seeing on TV. I will have a doubt. Not that the TV cannot convince me, but I'm still gonna
Yeah.
have a doubt. But if
Yeah.
somebody is in front of me and say, "Oh my God, that chicken is the best chicken ever,"
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. So what do you think your business is going to look like from 12, 18 months forward from now? What's your crystal ball telling you on where your business is going to go in this current landscape?
um, we want to be reconnecting with all of our old clients
Mm-hmm.
and definitely create what you call a human village
Mm.
of people that are not only talking about our product, but at the same time wearing our product. That's what I would like to see. Yes, that's what we're working on right now.
Okay, brilliant. And is there a vision to get your product to more areas of the world?
Yes, and that's what I'm currently working on with my team in France and here in the state, and also in part of Asia is creating a brand new line in where it can be more accessible through e-commerce.
Right, okay. Okay, great. So we all know that, businesses are people and people are businesses. So how has this particular period impacted you personally? Have you found this a difficult period of time as a business owner?
It is um, the challenge because of the way we this whole COVID-19 or this situation of life right now, even with even with Black Lives Matters and all that stuff, the current political scene in the United States is somewhat very agitating. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because not only you have businesses that that used to be open are no longer open. We don't know to what are we gonna be open to. You know, a
Mm.
lot of the businesses have been shut down in the United States as well. At the same time, there's been also a way to think through everything that we've been doing. Are we been doing the right thing anyway? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And
sure.
and if we have not been doing everything right, what can I do to make it right? And that's what I've been doing lately with myself and my team. What can we do right in order to move forward to the next, to whatever what we're gonna be open to? One thing for sure we wanna do in our community here is to see how we can assist other businesses as well, you know, that
Mm.
are in fashion and see
Mm-hmm.
how we can motivate them, you know, to or to form some type of cooperative and collaboration effort in order to move their product forward as well.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Well, Bernie, listen, it's been great having you on the Global Business Podcast today. I'm going to put the links to your business in the show notes so people from all over the world can get to check out your beautiful fashion. Definitely. And let's hope that that can generate some new sales for you and some new collaboration partners all over the world. So thanks for joining me on the Global Business Podcast today, Bernie Martin.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
There we go. That was Berny Martin talking about the fashion industry and what he's feeling at the moment going into the next phase of COVID-19 and how it's affecting our businesses. If you're sitting out there today and you have either a business of your own or you're involved in a business that you'd like to talk about and your strategy going through COVID-19 with the aim of sharing and helping people all over the world in business, then that's what this show is all about. So get in contact with us and we'll talk to you about being on the show. If you like the show, make sure you tell some friends, family members, and your work colleagues all about it. We want to get as many people listening to the Global Business Podcast as we can. That's it for today's episode. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. My name's Mark Philpott. I look forward to bringing you the next show very soon.